Hi! If you've been following some of my field trip videos lately, you know that I'm acting on a promise that I made to myself at the start of the new year. I'm getting out to some places that I've been and many that I haven't, and I'm capturing them with the best gear suited for the job. What's the best? That's up to the individual. But I found a system that works well for me and my style of photography, and I want to share it with you. Like usual, I will never tell you what you should or shouldn't do when you're going to take pictures. That's a personal choice. So, proceed with caution. If you disagree or make different choices, it's all good. I like when you have an opinion, whether or not it's the same as mine. Okay, let me tell you exactly how I approach a national park, or really any area of great geographical interest. First, I do as much research as possible. I avoid opinions and stick to the boring old facts as to what is where. Why? I want to form my own opinions. An easy hike for someone else might be a tough hike for me, or a landscape scene that I might find amazing. Someone else might say, that place was okay. Generally speaking, I'm in it for the landscape, and in the case of the larger national parks, the overall experience, including any campgrounds, trails, and lodges. When I get to the park, I get my hands on any of the material that they have to offer at the gate. Oh, and if you get this national park pass in the US, you can go to any of the national parks and monuments as many times as you want in a single year at no additional cost. Usually at the US parks, they hand you both a park guide and a park newspaper. As soon as I find a place to park, I read the newspaper cover to cover. Why? It will usually tell you about any road closures, construction, and unique events going on in the park. Also, it will have the sunset and sunrise times for the coming weeks, which is essential information for us with cameras. Once I'm in the park and I know how to get to the places that I want, I'm there to do three things. First is be an observer. Animals, landscapes, and even the people. For me, it's an immersive, almost transcendental experience to be a part of the environment, meet the people and the animals. Also, and maybe I'm a nerd about this, I like a well-organized and managed park. I like to see the care that goes into the upkeep of the buildings, and it's always fantastic when people are there to answer my questions. As much as I like roughing it out in the wild, I also like putting any park's Wi-Fi connections to the test. Many of the vlog and field trip videos that I've produced have been uploaded from one of the coffee shops that you could sometimes find at the parks or at one of the lodges. Second, I'm there to exercise. As you may know, I'm a bit of a fitness nut, and the park guide is going to give me the information that I need to know about the easy, strenuous, long, and short hikes. Some of you have pointed out that I always like to be in motion. It's true. So when I get there, I'm eager to pick up an adventure that is within the limits of my abilities and then go for it. Third, I'm there to take pictures. A lot of pictures. It's a part of me, and it's something that I'd be doing whether I'm at the Grand Canyon or doing chores around the house. My priority for photos at national parks is quality and efficiency. Quality, because if I get somewhere amazing and I am experiencing views, landscapes, and skies that I may never see again, I want to capture the moment as best as possible. For this, I love my D800, and I love my modest collection of prime lenses. On any given day in a national park, I might be shooting with this 24mm prime, 35mm, 50mm, 85mm, and even this 105mm macro lens to capture the textures of these amazing environmental features. Now, primes don't zoom. Do I always feel like I have the right lens on at the right time? No way, not always. But one thing I've learned, rather than reach for that other lens that may be back in the car, tent, or room, shoot with the lens that doesn't feel right. For the longest time, I always shot the widest angles I could for landscapes. Recently, at the Grand Canyon especially, I've been shooting with the 85mm prime, or even the 70-200. Another reason to have some telephoto capability handy is wildlife. This guy can be heavy to lug around, but when you run into a bighorn sheep blocking the trail, and you want to get some photos but don't want to get too close to him while he's guarding his trail, you will almost certainly get the shot. Some of you know that I don't often stop at one camera in the outdoors or on the trail. And sometimes I like to leave the DSLR at home entirely. I've found what is almost a magical combination as a second body at national parks is this little V1 with this 6.7 to 13mm lens. Now, before you get too excited by 6.7mm on the wide end, the CX sensor camera has a 2.7x crop factor. So you're shooting with an angle of view equivalent of 18mm at the wide end. Still, that's pretty wide, and it helps me get the shots like this and this. Some days I find myself with just the V1 in my backpack. On those days, I might have this little 30-110 telephoto along with me as well, which is good for something like this or this. Depending upon the trip, I use this bag, which fits just one camera body and a couple of lenses, but also a laptop. Or when I'm going to be there for a few days and want a couple of bodies, a small jackpot of lenses, and even a speed light or two, this bag works great. I don't hike with either one of these though. When I gear up for the day, the camera is going on my shoulder and the second body and lenses or other accessories are going into my Camelback. One thing that I remind myself of throughout, be adaptable. Was it too cloudy or even too clear at sunrise for dramatic views? Don't dwell on it. Find out where the wildlife hangs out. And when the skies and wildlife won't cooperate, find a museum or other places of interest and look around the park. Recently, at Zion National Park, I found this nearby ghost town. It's not in the park at all, but it's just a short drive away, and it provides its own sense of amazement. And it's a little bit spooky. What I'm really trying to say here is that don't get frustrated. Go with Mother Nature, and she'll rarely lead you astray. Sometimes, though, you need to be patient and listen to what she's saying.